let's get this all set up. Hi, this is Brooke-Sidney with Bella and the Babe, the site that's all about empowering authentic motherhood. And today we are doing chapter 2 of The Conscious Parent. I just picked this book because I thought that it's a great way, thanks Diana Land for joining, I thought it'd be a great way to augment the parenting tools and the mothering tools that most of us have. It would be a great way for us to learn new things. Hello, Jordy Joden, thanks for joining. Nicholas Foster, thank you also for joining. This would be just a great tool, whether we agree with everything that Dr. Shefali discusses in the book or not. It's a way to expand the way that we think about parenting our children. And so I hope that if you missed chapter 1's discussion, that you will go to my site, and that's bellaandthebabe.com, and the video from the Periscope where I discuss chapter 1 is posted there. And if you're interested in joining the group, I have a Facebook group that is delving into all the contents a bit deeper. So this is really just an opportunity to talk about it with everyone here on Periscope, spread the word, and if you really want to continue the discussion, it happens in the Facebook group. So for those of us that are just joining, my name is Brooke-Sidney. I am the Bella of Bella and the Babe. Hello, Eduardo. Thanks for joining. And this scope is all about the book, The Conscious Parent, written by Dr. Shefali Sabari. Hello. Hi, Eduardo. Hello, Varus98. Thanks for joining. So I want to jump right in because time is precious, especially when you have children. And in this particular chapter, it's chapter 2. Hi, hello from Russia. This chapter is called The Spiritual Reason We Birth Our Children. And for me, I pulled out, I feel like, 5 very important points. So I wanted to go through those with you. And I'd love for you to jump in with questions, comments, your own observations, your own thoughts, feelings, reactions to this. I don't just want to talk to myself, but if for some reason something I'm saying, hello JMH, if something I'm saying resonates with you, please give me some hearts so that I know that this is a good topic and that you all are enjoying this and want to continue. So the first thing that Dr. Shefali talks about is that children are our mirrors to guide us to personal transformation. And I know that that sounds sort of weird, right? That like we have, hello, Atilnat, that we have children and they're actually coming here somehow to help us along our personal journey. But in fact, that is what she's saying. She says parenting consciously really requires us to undergo personal transformation, and that the relationship between the parent and child exists for the primary purpose of a parent's transformation and only secondarily for raising the child. Okay, thank you, Nat. And wow, I feel like that's such a different perspective because most parents, myself included, hi Bookmeister, thank you so much for joining. Most of us think that we have our children, we're supposed to control what they do, and that raising our children is the most important thing that we have to do. And she's kind of flipping that concept on its head. She's saying, no, actually, our children come to help us do personal transformation, and that their primary role is to help us kind of raise ourselves. And then secondary, it's actually raising children. So I felt that was pretty mind-blowing. I think that that's a shift in how most people think about parenting and about our relationship with our children. I discussed it a lot when I talked about chapter 1. Thank you so much for the hearts. In chapter 1, she even talks about the traditional hierarchical model of parenting, which is like top down, parents are on the top and children are on the bottom. Thanks, Nat. And this really feeds into that point that Our children are here to help us, and it's not just us over them or us dominating them, that they're really here to guide us to our own personal transformation. So I really feel like that's a pretty powerful point. And she even says that this path requires, thank you, Lennon Silva, for joining. She said the path requires a lot of courage because our children are coming and they're bringing up things that need to be healed. Things that we've had from our childhood, things that we've encountered, all sorts of things. So it's really a shift to think that children are here actually as our mirrors and to guide us to personal transformation. So that's point number one. Point number two is she raises all of these questions. I think there were 6 key questions that I wanted to get out today that urges parents to address the following. Hello, Too Many Cats. Thanks for joining. The first question Conscious Parenting asks us is, am I allowing myself to be led toward greater spiritual awakening through my relationship with my children? That's like, whoa. Second, how can I parent my children with an awareness of what they truly need from me and thus become the parent that they deserve? Wow. That's like flipping it, to think about the children's needs first and to have that awareness. 3, how can I rise above my own fear of change and transform myself to meet the requirements of my child's spirit? Again, it's like thinking through the things that bother us. Most of us are scared of change. Like, it's totally normal to get out of our comfort zone, but to recognize that we have those fears when we're parenting and to really be able to see through them to benefit our child. That's pretty awesome. Thanks, Danny Boy and Computer Lady, for joining. 4, dare I go against the stream and parent from a place where the inner life is valued far more than the external? And that is huge. Like, this way of thinking, the way that she describes in this book is not the traditional model. So I know on my last Periscope, I had someone asking about being permissive and like, if doing this method of parenting. Hello. Oh, that's awesome. You're from Indonesia. Thanks for joining. This form of parenting could be seen as permissive or not being, not having enough discipline, when in fact, that's not it at all. It's just the manner in which we're going through it. We're going for parenting kind of inside out versus outside in. And so she was saying that it's, are you going to dare to go against the stream of parenting that does it the complete opposite? Especially when you have people and friends and other family members that might disagree, right? And put your parenting into a box, right? The 5th question she says that conscious parenting urges us to ask is, do I recognize every aspect of my parenting as a call to my higher evolution? And again, that just points back to the first point that we discussed. Oh, thanks. Thanks so much for the hearts. And then the 6th, am I able to perceive my relationship with my child or my children as a sacred relationship? I think that's big, because I think often, we have connection to spirit, God, whatever you may choose. I say God, but whatever you may choose to call it, we view that as our sacred relationship. Or some of us may view our relationship with our partner or our spouse, like a romantic relationship, as very sacred. Here she's asking the question, do we view our relationship with our children as a sacred relationship? And I really feel like that's so, so powerful. And when you think about it, other than your partner, you are going to be on this earth with your child, presumably for your entire life, unless, something terrible happens. But that is a relationship that is so deep and so eternal in a sense. It's an amazing one to think about it as being sacred. So then this 3rd point, and there's 5 points in case you guys are jumping in later. The 3rd point is basically the point that a child can awaken the adult, and she talks about how. And basically what she says is that each of us are given a child from God, spirit, universe, karma, however you wish to define it, that comes into our lives that acts as a mirror to show us our subconscious, to show us maybe our own childhood wounds, to show us things that are hidden from us consciously. I think it's really, really interesting how our children can bring up our stuff. I know for myself as a parent, I knew that I did not want to spank. That's me. Every parent makes choices for themselves. Like, this is not to judge anyone else's decisions. I knew that that's something I wanted to not do or try to figure out another way to do it. I, as a child, was spanked. I mean, I can count them on one hand, but still I was. And so I feel like I knew that my child would bring up in me whatever agitations or conflict, that I would need to learn new conflict resolution method. That would not be the method. Whether it ended up being timeouts or whatever, I knew that my child would trigger something inside of me that may perhaps want to, spank him. So our children are there for us to heal those things, figure out these things, if we are conscious enough to think about it and want to do that. I love how she says, how can we guide, protect, and provide for our children in the physical world, yet rigorously relinquish all sense of domination of their spirit unless we have untied our free spirit within ourselves? So basically what she's saying is that unless we have really nurtured the free child within ourselves, then it's really going to be hard for us to nourish that in our children. And I think that that's just an awesome point. The fourth point, moving through, I don't want to keep you all forever, but the fourth point is that conscious parenting is learned. And the way that it's learned is that it's actually not looking outside of yourself. It's not looking at tons of books. I know a lot of us are kind of programmed to think that there's an answer outside somewhere. There's an expert that's going to tell us the proper way to discipline our child, or if we do these 5 things, like that's how people sell books. If we do these 10 things, then now we're going to have a perfect child. She's saying, nope. All of the answers actually exist within the parent-child dynamic. They're actually all present right there. And she says that we learn it through our actual experiences with our children. It's the day-to-day, in the moment, life experiences that helps us to learn. It helps us to become aware of being present, of being able to slow down and think about the ways that we're reacting before we're reacting to them. So we're like creating this space and not just on autopilot. I mean, that's generally how, when I think about becoming conscious, I think about parenting from a place that's not autopilot, or a place where I just let all my subconscious stuff spill out onto my kid. So I think it's really cool just to think, though. It's cool, but it also can seem daunting that we kind of have to guide ourselves. We have to look within, and we're not looking outside for all of the answers. And then she also says it won't change overnight. So a lot of people get truly, truly frustrated with this philosophy, and it's just that, a philosophy, because they have perhaps disciplinary issues with their children that they want solved overnight. And this is not an overnight solution. This is a process of changing the way we think and relate to our children, and as a result, the way our children relate to ourselves. So thank you so much, Sparky, for joining. And finally, it really goes hand in hand, the fifth and final point really goes hand in hand with the fourth point, and that's that conscious parenting, surprise, surprise, it doesn't emerge overnight. Again, this is a process. To parent consciously, we have to become astute observers of our behaviors, of our ways of thinking, how we're interacting with our children. And it doesn't happen overnight. And I think that one of the things that is really key that I loved is that she says that conscious parenting is not a destination. You know, it's kind of like people use the word like enlightenment or, you know, more godly like, whatever it is. And we all are like, we want to get there. We want to be those things. But in reality, it is a journey. It's a process, and it's not a destination. But the more that we do it, the more time we spend conscious and not unconscious. You know, each time we are able to observe in the moment, you know, giving space and not just automatically reacting, we have won. We have taken another step towards conscious parenting, intentional parenting, mindful parenting for our children. And we've taken steps away from parenting unconsciously and, you know, throwing our stuff, our baggage onto our children, which I think is awesome. And any shift is a great shift, right? Any shift in the right direction. Oh, thanks, Nat. Thanks. I love this conversation too. If anyone has any questions or thoughts or comments, I would love to hear. I would love to hear from you. It'd be awesome. That is really the last point. I'll do like a quick recap. But the first point was basically that children are our mirrors, and they actually guide us to personal transformation, which to me is a very different way of viewing our children and our parenting relationship, especially today. And then the second big thing was that conscious parenting urges us to address. She gave us 6 key questions, and out of interest of time, I won't repeat them all, but you can find them on your book on pages 14 through 15. They'll also be posted in my Facebook group. Yes, is there a book? Yep. This is the book. It is The Conscious Parent by Dr. Shefali Sabari. It is an amazing book. It's one of Oprah's favorites. She recommended it. She says if she had children, like real children, it was like one of her favorite books. She loves this book. She recommends all parents and all people read it. I think the reason why is because it is a book that encourages us to look at our relationships with other people. And this one specifically points to children, but to look at our relationships with other people as ways to transform ourselves, as ways to see things that we need to heal, as mirrors of things that we'd like to change or improve. So it's awesome. So then the third is how can a child awaken an adult? And in fact, that's exactly what children do. They enter our lives, and every child has their own like idiosyncrasies. But for some reason, you're paired up, however you want to look at it, you're paired up with the perfect child to be your perfect mirror to help you transform. And then, you know, of course, also to help the child. But she says the primary reason is to help you transform. And then the fourth one was that conscious parenting is learned. And it's learned in the everyday. It's learned in your ordinary, everyday moments with your child. It's not learned from going out there or getting 20,000 books or, you know, learning 10 top ways to discipline your child or be a great mother. It's actually learned from within and through every day just working on it, becoming more and more conscious of how you're parenting and how you're thinking. And then the fifth one, which is a no-brainer, but it's important to think about, and it's also, I think it gives us kind of a pass, right? Parenting, conscious parenting does not emerge overnight. To me, I think, good thing, because I know I can't do it all overnight. Like, it's a total journey. Each day gets a little bit better. And then there's days where we take, you know, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but we're still going in the right direction. So I hope this conversation has been helpful. I hope that you all have gained an interest maybe in learning more about the Conscious Parent book, this different philosophy, thinking differently about the way that you parent, thinking more about your relationship with your child, I would love if you would check out my site. My site is Bella and the Babe. Oh, thank you. I'm glad it was helpful for you, Nat. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really would love if you would check out my site. It's bellandthebabe.com. All the information about the book club is there. And then I also have a Facebook group if you want to discuss it further. I will be scoping once or twice a week. So probably on Thursday, I will be scoping about chapter 3 and just keeping it moving forward. I'd love to keep the discussion open. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. You can reach me on my site. Again, that's bellandthebabe.com. I really want to thank you all for tuning in, and stay tuned for my future Periscopes. Thanks so much. Love and light. Talk to you later.